Hey pups, RP here. By the title of this video, you can probably guess this was inspired by Pepper Sweeney's video. If you haven't seen it or looked at her channel, I recommend you check out those before watching this video. Before we get to the main topic of this video, I had originally planned for all illustrations as my OCs inspired by Melanie Martinez's album Crybaby to be an art challenge, but I decided to keep them separate, seeing as I either have more opinions or stories to talk about defining the symbolism with the drawings, sorta. And yes, this is also a celebration for Melanie's upcoming album / film, K through 12, which I am so excited for, by the way. As you can see, the first drawing is of my self-insert persona as a crybaby, quote-unquote, or the character in Melanie's album, Crybaby. Painfully obvious here, right? And as you would expect, this is going to be a series in the same order as the songs in the album, such as Crybaby being the first one, Dollhouse being the second, and so on and so forth. Now with all that out of the way, let's dive into the Shark Tank of the topic that makes me laugh with anger of the stupidity of people. This was started by our favorite narcissistic onion boy, Onision, who totally doesn't judge underage girls in their underwear and tells them to eat their own death if they're too skinny, or lose 500 pounds and not eat if they're too fat. Never wants to date underage girls and use them for his own personal playthings, quote-unquote. Doesn't get pissy and bitch and moan and cry wolf, and never tells someone their depression is their fault, and absolutely, definitely doesn't abuse his partners, telling them to get a tramp stamp saying liar. And this just makes me laugh with rage of how fucking stupid people can be. I stated several times before in the past, and will continue to do so in the future, that things like ABDL are psychologically recognized as a coping mechanism for people, be it them dealing with abuse, mental disorders, etc. Hey, future / editing RP here. When I first edited this video, I meant to say things like, ABDL, age play type of thing, but what I do want to clarify is differences between two things in the ABDL / DDLG community. Now, DDLG is a subcategory of BDSM, but is more affiliated with ABDL, and ABDL has a ton of categories within it. I'll link more info about that in the description below. You can tell this part is very unscripted. I'm sorry for that. But what I meant by what I just said earlier about ABDL being like a coping mechanism, I meant with age aggression, which is a coping skill used in therapeutic moments such as panic attacks or de-stressing, decompressing from a long, hard, stressful day, or dealing with anxiety, depression, reliving one's childhood if they went through abuse. And age play, will has some similarities to age aggression, deals with more in the kinky, fetishy, sexual type of thing. Like, hopefully you guys can understand what I'm trying to say, is that the differences between these two things in this video. I'll link sources that explain the information a whole lot better than I can right now in the description below. So that being said, let's continue on. This goes without saying, there are some people who see it as a fetish. Whether they sexualize ABDL for fun or for the cash, it has been proven time and time again throughout history that sex sells. But in Melanie's case, it provides symbolism to tell a story of a woman named Crybaby. Yes, I said woman because this will be important later on. Possibly near the end, possibly not, but I'm crap at writing scripts. Melanie doesn't really do that in her music videos for her album. She hardly sexualizes anything in her music videos and only focuses on the metaphors and symbolism of her songs. They tell a story as the entire album is about Crybaby's journey throughout life. The first song is about her being called Crybaby because she's overly emotional, and in the lyrics she says, "They call you Crybaby, Crybaby, but you don't fucking care. Crybaby, Crybaby, so you laugh through your tears." Then later, near the end of the song, Melanie says, "I look at you and I see myself. I have the same faucet in my eyes, so your tears are mine." and it switches to, they call me crybaby, crybaby, but I don't fucking care. Crybaby is a grown woman mocked for crying and her own emotions. No one ever calls a baby a crybaby. It's to mock someone who's too old to cry, quote unquote. She puts a lot of herself in her songs, and just her creativity in general. Putting forth the baby symbolism in her albums to tell a story is an interesting idea at that. Mostly because I don't see a lot of that in the music industry. Or it's either there and I just don't see it, and it's just more present to Melanie's work. She directs her own music videos, breaking the cycle of sexualized music videos that have nothing to do with the song whatsoever. And her lyrics are assertive, such as, I say fuck your degree, alphabet boy, I'm not a piece of cake for you to just discard. I know that's a bonus song, but it's still relevant to the point. Pacify her, she's getting on my nerves. And finally, he doesn't think I'm that fucking dumb, does he? Writers and artists vent themselves through their characters. Hell, I do it from time to time when I need to release any and all negative emotions. It's clear that Crybaby is played by Melanie, and it's a story about a coming-of-age story where a woman who dares to have feelings and doesn't care if they call her Crybaby because she's gonna cry anyway. Women are seen as mysterious, overly emotional, and dramatic, and she often sees herself as the character. Each of these songs is a metaphor for something, such as Crybaby being in a song about someone who's emotional and gets called Crybaby for being sensitive, but near the end, she says she's gonna cry anyway because she doesn't give a fuck if they call her Crybaby. Crybaby isn't a baby, she's a grown woman treated like one. Songs like Dollhouse is a metaphor for celebrities living glamorous lives outside of their personal lives, which are horrible, crappy, etc. And it shows Crybaby's dysfunctional family. Sippy Cup being a song of Crybaby's dad bringing home a prostitute that he's been seeing, and her mom kills him, and she basically drugs Crybaby after she witnesses the murder, and saying things aren't always what they seem, such as, kids are still depressed when you dress them up, meaning because the kids are dressed up nice doesn't mean they're happy. Obviously. I imagine you get the point. So far, Pacify Her is a song. The next song, Pacify Her, is a song about... The next one, Pacify Her, is a song and a music video that is probably one of the most modestly sexualized songs on the album, in my opinion at least. Crybaby sits in a playpen, bored, playing with toddler toys, and comes a blonde girl, who also played by Melanie, who we should call Melanie too, with Blue Boy to flaunt her man, and Crybaby tries to steal her man, while Melanie too gets pissy, trying to keep Blue Boy entertained with Pat Cake as a repetitive relationship. And Crybaby uses psychic powers to throw toys and plugs her mouth with a pacifier as a metaphor to silence women. Then Blue Boy tries to get with Crybaby. Melanie too brings out the boobies. Obviously it's showing her back and does not show skin. And he is wowed and wants to smash. And the two leave. Crybaby sits in the playpen sulking while the gate is opened. The symbolism here is that pacifiers are meant to silence women, and the word pacify means to calm down, and pacifiers were invented to calm babies down. Furthermore, it shows that men are more into smashing and women are childish. Piper explained it a lot better than I do. And we're also going to look at 3 bonus songs, Playdate, Teddy Bear, and Gingerbread Man. Playdate is about Crybaby going over to a boy's house who wants to play games, and Crybaby states she doesn't give a fuck about him and just wants to gain his love and affection in a relationship. Near the end of the song, she says she actually does give a fuck about him and tells him the truth, saying she wants to stay with him. Teddy Bear is a song either about a stalker or an abusive partner who's sweet, kind, and cuddly at first, and later near the end of the song, he's very dangerous, violent, and very abusive, with Crybaby stating she's scared and didn't know how or why the relationship developed into a domestically abusive one, with her partner actually trying to kill her for whatever reason. Finally, Gingerbread Man is a song with her saying she wants a man who doesn't call her baby. Of course, as stated before, the baby symbolism is a metaphor for the album to tell Crybaby's story about her journey, and the only preferred song is Gingerbread Man. Also, the dance sequence to Pacify Her was cropped at her hips, and I didn't know she was wearing lingerie until Piper pointed it out in her video. And if you still think these songs and music videos are pedophilic, then sorry to tell you this, but you're the pervert here. I mean, come on. Sexualizing children's things is pretty damn perverted if you ask me. By the way, the next time you say someone is sexualizing children or babies in media, be it songs, literature, artwork, etc., when it doesn't even involve minors in the first place, check your facts and have someone who's wise and always use the logic to analyze it for you, if you're too damn lazy and stupid to do so. And if you still do so, even if and when you've been called out to be wrong, you're pretty screwed either way. I hope you pups enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel to join the Pupper Pack today. Special thanks and shout out to my Patreon Picarto for their support. If you want to support me and get specialized rewards, be sure to become a patron to my Patreon today. Every little bit helps. As always, I'll see you in the next one, pups. Stay awesome, stay strong, and stay beautiful.